Let's go!
Yeah, let's talk about the giant elephant in the room. Biggest, thickest elephant. Ah, not that. Jesus Christ, Nerd Andy. So here's the problem. Dear customers, we have made a tough decision to move the release date of Guilty Gear Strive, which was originally for April 9th, technically April 6th for early access, to June 11th. So that is a full 2 months after the initial launch date. Guilty Gear is not coming out for another 3 months from now. We received valuable feedback after the recent open beta. We would like to make the most of this opportunity to provide the best game possible. We need extra time to polish some aspects of the game, such as the online lobbies and the server stability. We believe it's best to use extra time to improve the game's quality and provide a better experience to all players. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Now, here's the thing. In any other situation, I'm like, good on them. Good for you guys. I'm glad that you would do this because some aspects were absolutely unacceptable, especially in a game where the online was working so good. This is good, right? Absolutely worth it, considering that we're going to be playing this game for a shit ton on its first month. Like, most people are going to be playing it a shit ton on its first and second month. But ultimately, we're going to be coming back to this game for years, right? Coming back and checking out characters down the line and returning and seeing what's new and trying out new shit and new mechanics, right? It would be nice if everything just worked. However, Guilty Gear Strive has now made it a personal endeavor to go after me personally, right? They've now taken this opportunity to attack me as an individual, as a person that doesn't just plan on playing a game like Guilty Gear. They specifically went to me and saw, what way can we fuck up Max's life? I can't wait. It's gonna be a few months away though, and good, right? Good. I'm glad it's a few months away. The worst thing that could have possibly have happened, chat, is that Final Fantasy VII Remake Interlude, bitch. April 6th. Fuck! No! Stop! You now have to choose between Guilty Gear Strive and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Stop! Thank God this comes out a couple months after that. This shit pisses me off. I'm mad. Like, I'm actually big mad. Not even like, not even slightly aggravated. No, I'm big fucking mad right now. I'm still big fucking mad, and it's been like a full day since this shit has been announced, and I'm still big mad. They're launching Guilty Gear Strive 1 day after the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, my question is, can we delay either 1 week earlier or 1 week later? Is it possible, right? Is someone somewhere on this God's green earth, is it possible to either delay or bump up either one of these fucking games just 1 week? Can we muster the amount of fucking kinetic energy to hopefully make that shit happen? Do we have to sign a petition? Just bum rush through your most anticipated game ever and its expansion. Just bum rush through it. Just play it in 24 hours. Delirious from lack of sleep. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So here's how this is going to break down. April 9th is originally the raw launch date of Guilty Gear Strive, right? Cool. However, it was going to launch on April 6th for early access, right? My question is, when June 11th rolls along, is the early access going to be around the 7th or the 8th? If that's the case, then that gives us a solid 2 to 3 days to completely fucking grind the holy shit, get to heaven, right? Get our heaven pass, all that kind of stuff. Does that hopefully give us a nice little comfortable 72-hour period where we can just play the holy shit out of this, and then early access has no online. Shut up! And then play the hell out of Final Fantasy VII Remake and this, right? Where in that week, that whole June 10th week, I'm going to be playing the shit out of FF7 new DLC as well as the old game again. But I would like to spend at least 2 to 3 hours each day still going back to Guilty Gear and learning new characters, if not playing better new people and getting better. Fuck. Chat, I hate it because this always happens, right? Like, there's always some big-ass, really highly anticipated release. Dragon Ball's coming out, and here's Monster Hunter. What the fuck, dude? What? Like, in the same exact time frame. Granted, it's a little bit different right now. This situation is a little bit different because this has actually opened up Monster Hunter for me now, which is kind of nice. No longer do I get what felt like 7 days after Monster Hunter Rise before Guilty Gear Strive comes out, or would have come out. No, dude, now we get like a month of Monster Hunter Rise before the next big game comes out, which is actually Resident Evil 8. RE Village is at the beginning of May. Now I'm like, okay, so this opened up some stuff because now it's like end of March, end of this month, whole shit ton of Monster Hunter, right? And then we're going to play that into April, where I'm essentially going to have to start playing a bunch of classic Resident Evil games. I got to play through RE2 Remake. I got to play through Resident Evil 7 again in some way. We got to play some Resident Evils leading up until Resident Evil 8, which is at the beginning of May. And at that point, it's smooth sailing up until Guilty Gear Strive, as well as Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. So the good thing is that this actually spreads out that planning, right? The fact that like maybe we can go back and play some classic Guilty Gear, so this might actually give us an opportunity to do maybe a Guilty Gear Legacy. It allows me to do a little bit of Resident Evil Legacying. Maybe even it allows us to do a little bit of Monster Hunter Legacying. Maybe. We'll see. Just nothing else. For the love of God, can that Aliens game, can everything else just not drop? Just please. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank is like the same exact day as this shit in Final Fantasy VII. The same fucking day. So, can we just like get the hell away? Can you just like a poisonous funk shield, get the fuck away from the first week, from the first half of June? Get the fuck out of there. They're like, hey, PSO2 New Genesis Beta, June 9th. I'm gonna go to Sega's offices and start picketing. Stop! Don't do it! Why? No! So anyway, outside of the absolute dramatic adjustments that I'm going to have to make to my schedule in life to accommodate all of this crazy horse shit now, this is indeed really good news. This is fantastic news when it comes to Guilty Gear. However, I have some predictions. I have some hopes that probably aren't going to come true, and I also have some predictions as far as what's going to happen. Prediction number 1. Everyone is like, the online lobbies and server stability, they're going to take away Habbo Hotel, and we're going to have a great old time. They're going to stick the old arcade machines back in. It's going to be sick. Nope. Temper your expectations. 2 months is some time. That's not going to happen. You are going to get the same old Habbo Hotel horseshit that's in Guilty Gear. The big thing that's most likely going to change when it does launch in June is the fact that it's actually going to work. For people that didn't play the beta, the lobbies weren't just aesthetically horrible on the eye. They barely function. Things just didn't, you couldn't match with people. Like, it would teleport you around the lobby constantly. If you wanted to fight an individual, you have to go to a list, and by the time you went to the list, things were super laggy and it was fucked up. In fact, the game's netcode held up quite well. In-game matches were great, but everything outside of that was awful. The server stability, I think, is directly related to their online lobbies. I think what happened during the beta is that a lot more people were playing Guilty Gear than they were anticipating. And their lobby system couldn't support it. It was just not ready to handle this shit. So, long story short, what's most likely going to happen when this shit comes out, the lobby's going to actually work, right? You're actually going to be able to pair up with somebody. You're not going to accidentally click their R code and be stuck in this infinite loop for the next minute and a half. You know, things will actually be responsive and function. The netcode in-game felt like it was actually using modern technology, you know, to pair you up with players and actually play people, but everything else felt like you were stuck in like 2011 or something like that. So most of those things, the insane disconnects, the crazy amount of downtime, I think is directly related to their lobby system, and it is just not ready. It also makes you realize how fucking painful it would have been if Guilty Gear Strive was launching without rollback, with that classic netcode, and the lobby system working the way it did in this beta. Can you imagine? Holy shit, dude. It would mimic literally almost every single one of Arc System Works' other launches, where shit is just completely fucked on day one. And things like, what the fuck is even... I don't know if you guys remember the vanilla launch of Dragon Ball FighterZ, but that shit was rough, dude. This shit was fucking... Matchmaking, like, didn't work. And when it did work, you got, like, a solid 5 to 10 frames of delay almost on anything. Let's hope that doesn't happen. The nice part is that there's one thing that is confirmed from the beta that is going to work when it comes out. If you get paired up with another individual, that shit's gonna feel great. Guilty Gear Strive actually has some of the best net play, the best net code of any fighting game out there right now. They did it. Somehow they did it amongst the insane heaping pile of rubble that was their lobby system and matchmaking. So, that's dope. There's a lot of other things we can hope for. You know, we're gonna hope all that shit works. I just want the lobbies to work the way they should. But there's other things we can hope for that I don't think is gonna happen, but man, I would love to dream. What if they were working on this lobby stuff, and in this 2-month time frame, how crazy would it be if they're like, hey, guys, thank you for waiting 2 months. We've adjusted a lot of the lobby system. It's not gonna look different, but it's gonna hopefully work better. And we also got something else for you. Crossplay is enabled. That's something that is genuinely worth a 2-month delay. That would be like, yo, what? That's some dream come true type shit. Have they actually said anything about crossplay? They have mentioned it, right? Crossplay has been mentioned that they would like to investigate it in the future. But at the time of the game's initial release, crossplay is not supported. For a couple of months, there's a chance, right? If work has already been done to make crossplay a functional situation, if work has already been done and they were planning on doing it at some point, that would be astonishingly cool. But I got another one. I like to dream big. I like to dream super fucking big. Could you imagine Guilty Gear Strive comes out now in June? Crossplay isn't only enabled, but Gatlings are back. Fuck. Yo, what? And these are the kind of things that you can get really, that like have been running in my head, like, what? Crossplay's enabled. Gatlings are back. As well as instant kills. Shit. Shit. Like, there's a lot of things that we want to be in Guilty Gear still, right? That we're just like waiting and hoping that they eventually put into this game. And it makes you realize that there's a clear long road and path ahead of Guilty Gear Strive that is the foundation for improvement, you know? Things like Gatlings, things like IKs, things like crossplay, right? There's a lot of these things that are like, fuck, dude. If these show up in this game, this is gonna be so sick. Because the game's already really fun. Characters are already really fun. We're gonna be getting more characters and seeing the way new characters actually perform in like a few minutes. So, I think the future of Strive sounds awesome. And I like the fact that they already know that this is important, right? This potentially could be the best-selling published and developed Arc System Works game And you guys might be saying, well, that's Dragon Ball FighterZ. Actually, no, Dragon Ball FighterZ was made by Arc System Works, but they don't get the money for it. That's Bandai Namco. It's their property. They paid Arc System Works to make that shit. Guilty Gear Strive is an Arc System Works joint, like through and through. It's always been, and it's always been their baby, right? It started a genre practically. So for this game to be running into these network issues, to be running into all these problems with their lobbies and stuff, because it seems to me this screams too many people were playing. You know, it actually screams that they were not ready for this many people to be beta testing their game. That's a good problem. If that many more people are going to be attempting to jump into this shit, you need to take a couple of months to make sure that if your audience is going to be bigger than you were anticipating, that it's not going to completely suck ass and you're going to run into like a Street Fighter V launch problem or a Dragon Ball FighterZ launch problem, where things are just super fucked up for weeks before they figure out what's going on. It's good that they're taking the time, because there's a clear path ahead of Guilty Gear Strive that has a lot of exciting stuff that could potentially happen to this game. And I'm not even talking about like mechanical stuff. It includes things like crossplay. It includes more characters. It includes maybe a guest character. Will they eventually do the thing that they should have done ages ago and put a guest character from something into this shit? I don't know. I don't know. But what's important is that they are paying attention and they truly give a shit. And that's good. It's good that they give a shit. Hopefully this is going to be the fighting game that takes the next generation by storm. You know, this is going to be the first big next gen fighting game, even though it's on previous gen too. So I'm excited, I'm disappointed, and I'm hopeful for the future. I'm excited that Guilty Gear might not have the issues and problems, and it might actually have a functioning lobby of some kind. Things might actually work in their Habbo hotel. I'm disappointed that they've chosen to take a stand directly against me and my personal acquisition of time and what I need to stream and the games I need to play. And I'm hopeful that going forward that they're going to listen to the community even more and just as much as they already have, and hopefully target some really important shit. This was a personal attack on me in this stream, and I will not forget it. I won't forget it. So just delay the game a week, right? Just delay the game one more week. Or delay Final Fantasy... Square, just delay Final Fantasy VII another week. Just do it. You know what? Delay Final Fantasy VII Remake a month.